This is my first color figure painting. So on my previous paintings, I've been doing the Grisaille palette, which is like a gray palette, so it's pretty much black and white, and then you add raw umber, and so that gives you temperature shifts. And this one is now a limited palette, so I'm using white, black, cadmium red light, and yellow ochre. And it's really a satisfying palette, especially moving from that gray palette, because it's just 4 colors that I'm using, but you can get it really convincing flesh colors with it, which I think is really, really cool. And this figure pose is 5 weeks, so definitely at the start I was feeling a bit awkward with putting in the color, but as weeks were going on I was feeling a lot more comfortable with it, and I'm really, really happy how this painting turned out, especially for my first color painting. I don't think there's any part in the painting that the color stands out in an awkward way. I'm really proud. I think I got a good unity over the whole piece. And this is my 4th figure painting at Ravenswood, and putting the paint down, I'm getting more comfortable with controlling the paint, and especially with controlling the paint to show the structure of the figure. So one of my favorite parts is the legs, and I think I really captured some interesting brush work with sharp lines and softer lines. And even if you take the color or temperature shifts aspects out of it, just I'm really liking how I'm laying the paint down, because the structure of the legs really creates this nice 3D atmosphere there, and I think that is a lot to do just with the drawing of it. And then contrasting that up to the upper portion, I think I'm getting a lot of atmosphere and space in this painting, which I'm really excited about, especially in the arms, with how forward that arm looks compared to in front of the stomach, and then compared to the arm that's behind that. And a lot of that is temperature and color shifts, and really pulling the background, especially in through this arm. So I'm not quite as happy with the drawing part of it, of showing the structure of the arm, but I think I'm still capturing that atmosphere in that area with temperature and color instead. And then looking at this painting as a finished painting, I am happy with how it turned out, with how the figure looks, but I know when I was applying the paint, a lot of it was applied thinly and kind of scumbled on, and I think the end result isn't bad, but I definitely want to practice putting a lot of thicker paint on it, and doing more kind of like extreme wet into wet painting, which I didn't do so much on this one because I was kind of afraid to lose the drawing, and well, it's my first color painting as well, so I think I was just nervous and just kind of being overcautious as I'm applying everything. But I'm hoping for my next one I can be a little more daring and do more wet into wet and not scumbling and glazing things everywhere. And then one other thing for my final critique, when we were talking about this painting with the 2 instructors, Matt and Magda, they were saying that something that I should definitely work on is unifying the shadow shape. So you can look at the shadow shape closely, and there is a lot of variation, mostly in color. I think the value for the shadow is pretty unified, but there's a lot of different colors in it, and one reason why you unify a shadow is because you want to keep all the attention and your eye just in the light. And so if there's a lot of different color changes in the shadow, it can kind of be distracting towards the focal point of the painting. So Magda suggested for my next figure painting that instead of doing a full-on figure where the figure is mostly in light, like this one is, I should try and really challenge myself and try and get the figure to at least be 50% in shadow, if not mostly in shadow, where there's just a sliver of light, because then I can really practice on even the having just a tiny bit of light, really pushing the eye towards the little bit of light. And the only way you can do that is by really, really unifying and keeping things, the color and tonal shifts, really unified in the shadow. So I think that'll be a pretty fun challenge. But this was a super fun painting to do, and I'm really, really happy that I've moved from the Grisaille palette into color, which is so much fun to play around with. And then here are the progress shots of how I made this painting.